All right, so let's talk about Joby. Let's talk about Joby real quick. Joby Aviation. Um, this might be one of the best stocks to play with, to get into early this year or this end of year for the next year. Now, when I'm looking at the technicals, it kind of excites me when I'm seeing what I'm seeing, right? So we're gonna match the technicals with the fundamentals so you understand why this is so big, right? So first and foremost, Joby Aviation is, let's go back, let's show y'all what Joby is, right? If you don't already know. So the stock has been performing kind of going sideways for a good minute. It's been going sideways, and it had previous ups and downs and stuff, but everything pretty much I feel like it lines up in order for it to actually give you what is needed. It lines up for the best possible conditions in order for it to explode. So let me go ahead and show you exactly what Joby Aviation is. All right, so pretty much what Joby is, it's a company that's going to try to pioneer or even spearhead the electric aerial ride sharing. So it's like the airplane of Uber, and this is what is pretty much the aim of it and the target of it is. So we have Joby and we have Archer. So basically we might be seeing a competition similar to Uber and Lyft in the near future when it comes to aerial ride sharing. So using planes such as, or electric vehicles, flying vehicles that are similar to helicopters, such as how we use right now the Uber vehicles on the road. So here we go. This is directly on their website, jobyaviation.com. We all want to spend less time traveling and more time living. At Joby Aviation, we're making that possible with our pioneering electric aircraft. It's a faster, cleaner, and smarter way to carry people through their lives. It's powered by 6 electric motors. It takes off and lands vertically, so it's similar to a helicopter, giving us the flexibility to serve almost any community. Flying with us might feel more like getting into an SUV than boarding a plane. So this is what, the highlights: vertical takeoff and landing, so similar to a helicopter. 0 operating emissions, so it's how can I say it? It's nature friendly. 1 pilot, 4 riders. Most likely this is going to end up being adjusted in the future as they continue to improve and advance in the actual technology and the carriers. And quiet as a conversation, so it's not as loud as helicopters are. It's very, very quiet is what they're saying, with 200 miles per hour top speed, 10 plus years of development. So pretty much what we're seeing is an innovation into the future, where we're seeing the Uber of the air, and this is what we're seeing. So now if we start to understand what this is, we don't even have to think of this as the Uber of the air. This can also be used as because whenever you're looking at any business or stocks, you want to look at what is going to be the actual usability, utility of the actual, like, what is the company providing that people need and or want. And so when it comes to something like Joby, like this, first and foremost, we can go with the main argument being traveling through air versus through road, through ground, because traffic and all that stuff. We can say that. Of course, it's going to take a few years. It's going to take some time to actually get the landing sites and stuff like that taken care of, and actually be able to get this up and running, the costs and all that stuff. Right, cool. The other thing we want to look at, this can explode, and it can be a big thing when it comes to tourism and attractions. So you know how when you go on vacations and you go to specific countries, specific cities, and they have the tour package where they can take you around the city, either on a bus or either on a plane. This can be perfect for that as an attraction. Individuals with money will spend money to do this, to sit in this and go around the city in a quiet, nice, clean space with their family, with their friends, a nice romantic night out, you know what I'm saying? So this can bring in a lot of revenue, right, for a company or the city who actually want to implement or use this for implementation, right? So the other thing is, let's see. The other thing is air ambulances. You know how whenever there's an emergency transport of an accident, let's say if someone had an accident somewhere in the city, in a crowded city, and the traffic will be a very disservice to actually getting this individual some care. You may need air transport. So even though this may not be designed to go like crazy far from like city to city, from state to state, it can possibly go city to city, and it can go from hospital to hospital. It can be a very, very efficient tool, very efficient device, carrier that can assist with transporting medical evacuations, or transporting those in need, emergencies. And this is another thing which can be very, very, this can bring a lot of money and revenue to this type of innovation, this business, because we're headed to the future. Helicopters are pretty outdated, and even if this is not going to be the actual carrier to be used, this may just be the prototype of the carrier that's going to be used in the future, right? So now that's pretty much what it is. Just they just got the FAA approved, I think, certification, I believe so, but let's see, let's read more into it, right? So what I had here, so this was the most recent article. Shares of JOBY Aviation surged 5%. I was actually watching it. It surged 5% and it came down a little bit again on Thursday, following two key developments in this company's journey toward quite an audacious dream of launching electric air taxi services. The company recently got FAA approval, which gives JOBY control over the content and rigor of Part 141 certificate for its flight academy. So they're setting up their flight academy right now, like in 2025, enabling the company to provide full range pilot training for current and future operations. So this can also be used for the military. Right now, I know in 2025 Dubai already is set to use these things for their attractions and stuff like that. So that's already a big win for them as well. In a further development, JOBY has secured approval from the FAA on its Part 5 Air Operation Voluntary Safety Management System, SMS, for its commercial air taxi business. So they got the approval to be able to do this, right? So this is going to take some time, but this is something that we need to look at. This is something that we really need to pay attention to. So if we go back to the chart, so that's the fundamentals, and let's do this here, right? Just so you can have an overview of the difference. And it's a simple Google. I didn't go into details, so it can be simple, clear cut, and it's transparent. So just the difference between the electric vertical takeoff and landing, eVTOL, aircrafts, and helicopters. So the main difference is the noise. The eVTOLs, they're quieter than helicopters, and they use wing-borne lift for forward flight and have lower rotor speeds, so they're not as loud. The emissions are more environmentally friendly. than helicopters because they produce zero emissions and don't emit greenhouse gases. So that's another plus. Eco-friendly. The range is something totally different. Range and payload. Helicopters are better for long range missions, which is good in heavy lift operations. So we can still use eVTOLs for shorter range things, and so shorter range trips, like I was saying before, air ambulances, some tourism, or even ride share within cities to avoid traffic. Even if the common individuals won't have this, I'm pretty sure those individuals who are quite wealthy will love the convenience of having this readily available to them. And so the cost is less expensive, could be less expensive than helicopters, making air travel more accessible, because we're gonna need that. And the maintenance is, it has fewer moving parts than combustion engines, which means there's less maintenance that's needed. So we have something that may be the next big thing, right? So going back to the chart. Now this is what I'm seeing on the chart, and this is what got me so excited, right? So these are the previous highs. We have the low down here. Notice how this low is respected, and this came up and it started running up. So now we have a harmonic forming. And if you don't understand, you don't need to understand, but I understand. I'm seeing these things, right? The technicals. So not only that, down here we have an order block that was tapped into, respected, ran up, and this area right here just needs to be, once this area is completely respected, this was the previous month wick, or previous week wick, bar, and this is this week's, and it looks like it's rejecting those cells. So there's more buys that took place today or earlier today. So we're seeing highs being taken out, and if we line this up, let me show you why this is so beautiful. For one, we having the 200 moving average. It just popped up on the chart. So the 200 moving average and the 50 are pretty much crossing at the moment, and all of these are staying above here. So once this is here, it has to be respected. So that gives us an okay. Now the C leg, the C to the D of the harmonic, these are the targets for them based on the harmonics that's going to be laid out. We have the Gartley, the crab, and the butterfly. So we have the $16 point, we have the 21 to 22, and the 25 to 26 as the actual. These are the actual short range expectations. So right now it's at $8.09. But if you take a look at what's going on here, we can go to the monthly time frame. Look at what took place after every month, after every bullish engulfing. There's going to be a retracement into that. We're only a few days, like 5 days, 6 days, 5 days, 6 days now into the month. So that price had to come down. It had to come down in order to cover all of these buys. So we have to have a buy for sell, sell for buys. So it came in and it started wicking. So I'm anticipating by the end of the month for this candlestick to end up being bullish. And once it breaks this top here at the $10, around the $9 to $10 range, once it breaks that, then that's giving us the 100% go ahead that this is the first target, the $16 range. So while it's down here, this is peak time for you to continue to just buy. It's the best possible time for you to be doing that, because that's during the accumulation right here. It just broke out the accumulation, and it's still giving opportunities for buys. It just filled this little fair value gap right here, but that's cool. But there's more that it needs to cover. Liquidity. So this is a beautiful sight. And with that being said, even if you just want to do something generic, you'll see if you draw a trend line across here, it crossed the trend line, and all it needs to do is respect the trend line and respect this line, this zone over here too. So as long as it respects those two, this is projected to go all the way up and to meet the D leg, the D point, and the butterfly may be the one to focus on. So this is what we're seeing. So we have technicals that align with fundamentals at the moment, and we're at the very beginning of the play of the move for it to take off. So this is pretty exciting. We have Archer as well, that, let me see, that's not Archer. Archer as well, that's giving us a similar style or similar outlook, if you say. So it's giving us a similar outlook. The order block right here was respected. Right here, this entire order block is being respected, and this, I'm expecting this to run up. So now if I take a look, let me look at the 3 month. This is just beautiful. So if I come down the 3 month time frame, which is going to end in 25 days, if this ends up being a bullish, then we're pretty much good for the quarter. And then you probably see a drop the beginning of 2025, a wick create for the next 3 month candle for it to run up. But that's what I'm expecting. That's what I'm expecting. So this is going to be a very beautiful, handsome move, and I'm ready for it. Let me see something. Which one is this? 200. Let's change that to, because I want to see it. That's fine. So that's the 200 right there. So that's about it. JOBY Aviation, JOBY Aviation, JOBY Aviation. Getting now while it's low. Getting while it's low. Let's go.